Hey everyone, Bill Barhate here from Abra. Welcome to an exciting episode of Crypto Bytes. We have a great announcement for you today. I'm really excited to talk to you about what we believe is the world's first crypto index token for retail investors. With this announcement, together with Bitwise, Abra is enabling every retail investor in the world to get broad-based exposure to the cryptocurrency market with one simple investment. So we've invited Hunter from Bitwise to talk to us. Welcome.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, so tell us about, first of all, what is a crypto index fund?
Yeah.
How does Bitwise work?
Yeah.
And why is it important for the crypto space?
Great. Yeah. So our firm, Bitwise Asset Management, we're the leaders in indexing in the crypto space. Last year, we launched the first cryptocurrency index fund. And to say a little bit about what indexes are and index investing, it's a very, very popular approach to investing in equities and bonds. ETFs in the US manage about $5 trillion in assets and by and large track indexes. So what are indexes? Indexes are generally an approach whereby you buy a basket of different coins. And in the case of our indexes, in many indexes, you weight them based on their size. So you hold more of the more valuable coins. In stocks, that would be you hold more Apple or more Amazon.
So if you bought the Dow Jones Industrials Index as a mutual fund, for example, you would be buying an index fund?
Exactly. Or the S&P 500 is another popular index, or the Russell 1000, Russell 2000. So there's a bunch of these indexes, and it allows you to effectively buy the market without having to take an opinion on which companies, in the case of equities, or which coins, in the case of crypto, will perform best.
Sure.
And so we've brought that to the crypto space. We have a family of indexes, and the Bitwise 10 is the one that we're really excited to be making available on Abra today to any investor. And what that does is it allows people to hold 10 coins. In the case of the Bit 10, it's the 10 of the most valuable coins that meet our eligibility criteria, which we'll talk more about. And then it rebalances them, and that's an important feature to recognize. So it's not like you buy 10 coins and then you come back at some point in the future and see how they did. With an index and with the Bit 10, those are being rebalanced monthly. So if an asset is doing really well, the fund may hold more of it. If a new asset emerges and becomes really valuable, it'll move into the index. And so you can sort of, in many ways, set it and forget it, or rely on this investment to manage itself as an approach to holding the 10 largest assets in crypto.
Got it. So for Bitwise, who are you targeting with your index funds?
Yeah, so as a firm, Bitwise Asset Management, we do two things. We create and manage the indexes, so we ingest all the data sources, manage the methodology and the rules, and then we also have funds that track those indexes. Historically, as you know, funds in the space have only been available to accredited investors. So these are much larger investors. An accredited investor in the US is someone who makes over $200,000 a year, has more than $1 million of liquid net worth. And it goes all the way up, of course, to institutions like endowments, pensions, asset managers, multifamily offices, et cetera. Right. And so for our funds, those are the clients that we serve. We haven't historically been able to make that available to every investor, which is something that we think is important and valuable, and one of the reasons we're so excited to be working with Abra.
Yeah, sure. So let me give us some context for our viewers as to what that actually means. So as of today, inside the Abra app, if you add a new wallet, there'll actually be a new type of wallet inside the app. Today there's cryptocurrencies and world currencies, fiat currencies, dollars, pesos, etc. Now there's a new type of wallet for index funds, or index tokens in this case. And the first index token you'll see in the app is the Bit 10, which is the Bitwise 10 implementation, which allows you via a single token inside the Abra app to get exposure to the 10 cryptocurrencies that are currently supported via the Bitwise 10 fund. Now, there's a few things that are really cool about this, besides the fact that you can do it as a retail investor inside the Abra app. One, it's global. Two, it works for any retail investor in the world supported by the app, because you are using our synthetic currency model, tech, to buy this investment exposure via the index token. So that means you could put $5 worth of Bitcoin in the Abra app and convert that Bitcoin into the Bit 10 token. You can use your credit card to buy $100 worth of Bit 10. If you live in Europe, you can do a simple SEPA wire into the app. International consumers can do bank wires, all basically with $5 minimums and effectively no maximum on how much you can buy, via the exchange function. All you do is press the same exchange button that you always used inside the Abra app, and you can convert any other token in the app, dollars or crypto, into the BIT10. When you want to sell it, you simply convert the BIT10 back to any other token, dollars or Bitcoin, and you can withdraw using the same process that you normally would. And I'm quite certain that this is an industry first for average retail investors.
Absolutely. I think to your point about you can just put in $5, that's incredibly exciting to us.
Yep.
Right now for our funds, which like I said are only available to accredited investors, the minimum is $25,000.
Right.
So this is 99.9%.
Right.
A lower minimum.
And are you only U.S. investors right now, or are you?
We most of our clients are in the U.S. today.
Yeah.
We do have some international investors, but we're San Francisco based and most.
Yeah,
most of
and the
our
accreditation
clients
process is maybe a little daunting for folks who don't understand the U.S. markets as well, I assume.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's a bit different internationally as well.
For sure. So yeah, for us, I mean, it's just incredibly exciting that we can do something that gives the average retail investor broad-based exposure to this market without having to dig into the details of how is Doge different from Dash, different from Monero, different from Zcash, et cetera, et cetera. And you have a lot of expertise. I mean, I've actually read all the docs behind the scenes about how you do rebalancing, all the policies. I mean, the complexity of what's going on back there is significant, right?
Yes, absolutely. We take that very seriously. And so what we're trying to do with our indexes and with the Bitwise 10, which the token is tracking, is to give people access to the 10 most valuable cryptocurrencies, but then to manage all of those risks that may not be obvious. So there's some coins that the price may seem high, the market cap may seem high, but they have very limited trading volume. Or their wallet software, which is how you secure and move the asset, may not be developed in a state that you can do cold storage, which is the best practice around security. Or the exchanges that it trades on don't meet a certain standard. And so those are all things that investors, when they're thinking about how to manage their money, may not have the time or the engineering familiarity to know about. And so our index methodology, our index committee, analyzes all those things, and also on an ongoing basis, these things are always changing, and make sure that assets that are eligible to be included in the index are above a certain bar. And then that eligibility criteria is public. It's published on our website. We have a very thorough methodology that, as you were just referring to, and then every month the assets that are held are rebalanced. So right now, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Zcash, Bitcoin Cash, Ripple, a number of others. But if the market changes, that too can change. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about index investing versus buying one coin or buying a set of coins. Certainly that makes sense for some investors. But for many investors, I think they want exposure to all the value that's being created in cryptocurrency, but they don't really have the time to be analyzing technical events or regulatory events, to be analyzing things that might be happening somewhere else in the world in the middle of the night. And the index approach to investing doesn't require them to.
Right.
It allows them to hold whatever emerges as the most valuable, whether it be a store of value or if it be a utility asset, if it be a coin with a great technical architecture or a coin that has a great business development team.
Super cool.
So
one of the things I've been thinking about in as it relates to your world is why hedge funds don't take this approach to giving themselves exposure. I don't know about the cost basis, if that works for hedge funds, if it's cheaper to work with you or easier to work with you, but it seems to me, like I've done a little bit of math on this, if you believe that there's a 500 or 1,000 to 1 opportunity with the crypto market in general over like the next 5 or 6 years, right? It's almost crazy from a betting perspective not to say I need to give my hedge fund 5% exposure to crypto. I mean, what's your take on that? What's your message to the hedge fund world? Because I think that's really important for our retail investors to understand in terms of what the upside opportunity is in having this broad-based exposure to crypto in the first place, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, the clients that we work with directly are generally institutional investors. It could be a hedge fund manager, family offices, multifamily offices. And so every investor has to decide for themselves, but the range of allocation size we see is 50 basis points on the low end, so that's 0.5%, all the way up to 10%. The average amongst our clients is 2.3%.
Okay.
And I think it depends on everyone's investment objectives, as you'd imagine. So some people want to put more risk into a portfolio. Others don't. Some people have requirements for there to be a certain cash flow or yield from their investments, and others don't. Different time horizons. I think also different people have different mental models about where this fits. Is this more similar to equities? The public blockchain structure is a platform like the internet, and we'll see lots of value created on top of it, much in the way we've seen a lot of valuable internet companies. Or others view it as more like a commodity, more like gold or oil, and view it in their portfolio more similar to that. And so I think that it depends a little bit on how an investor is viewing it.
Sure.
But that's the range of allocations that we generally see.
I mean, do you guys disclose kind of assets under management, and is that something that you're allowed to talk about? Or?
I don't think that we've publicly
Okay, fair enough.
disclosed it,
Fair
but
enough.
It's
We'll have you
a
back.
meaningful number.
We'll have you back when it's publicly disclosable.
Yeah.
So I guess, is there anything else that you think that the Abra community should know about, kind of in terms of how an index works, or the implications, or just investing in crypto in general?
Yeah, I think that everyone who is seriously managing their money should be thinking about an exposure to crypto. And many of the clients we work with feel that way. Their investment committees feel that as an asset class, it's grown to a size, an amount of liquidity where not investing is in and of itself a decision.
Yep.
And I think that for many people, that's an appropriate decision. But I think that amongst the clients that we talk to, they've moved past the stage of being dismissive. And many of them are now at the stage of, do we want to invest or not? And many of them do want to invest. And how should we get exposure? And I think that for most investors, the index is the right way to approach getting exposure. If you're going to invest 1%, 5% of your money, you should be spending 5% of your time on it. Maybe less if you're not a professional investor.
Right.
But you still want to be smart about how you're investing.
For sure.
And so I think the index and the BIT10 token that we're introducing today is a great way for many investors who don't feel comfortable making specific decisions or don't have the time to have that smart investment, but in a simple format.
Awesome.
I think an element that is really important to be clear about with the BIT10 and the index is that it rebalances. So you might come to the conclusion that today, in September of I guess it's October 1st today, beginning of a new quarter, that today, these 5 or 6 assets are the ones that you think have the most merit, or maybe they're doing the best in the market. But it's a very nascent market, and it's at a very early stage. And like I said before, if you're not going to be constantly monitoring it, I think that not rebalancing that portfolio or not moving those assets as new information comes into the market, as things change.
So in other words, if EOS takes off and disproportionately to where it is now, you'll automatically rebalance the fund, in which case the Abra user who has got retail exposure would automatically get a rebalancing of their exposure to EOS inside the fund or the token.
That's a perfect example. And there's a lot of stories like that. So at one point Ethereum was not a top 10 asset.
Right.
And then it rocketed up and it entered the index, and then investors got to participate in that performance. And EOS is another great example. Zcash is another example. And so I think things are constantly changing, and this is a simple way to have exposure to that. It's not a static set of 5 coins that you have to hope will forever into the future be the most valuable
People
assets.
who watch this and follow Abra also know that I'm all about competition, and that's one of the things I love about the altcoin space, is that having these different tech platforms is really driving the space forward. And I love the idea of creating friendly competition among the cryptos to get into that BIT10 in the first place.
I'll actually tell you.
I'm sure they're all calling you saying, how do I get in? If they're not, but it's by definition.
Some of them come to the office.
Sure.
Absolutely. So I think what we've tried to do with the index, which this coin is tracking, is to lay out a transparent and very thoughtful and robust set of criteria that we look at around trading volume, around the ability to do cold storage, around the availability on exchanges in countries that don't have capital controls, and all of those things that you would hope are in place. And I do think that for many investors, there's actually now a lot of hedge funds and firms that benchmark to the index or use the index for analysis, and so I think it's a bar above just looking at a website and taking looking at CoinMarketCap and taking the top 10 off of that list.
Awesome.
As a matter of fact, we have a Bitwise 100 index, and in order to find the top 100 coins by market cap that met the eligibility criteria, we had to go all the way down to the 260th coin. So there's quite a bit of variance if you look, a step behind the price or a step behind
Absolutely.
the market cap, and that's to be expected because it's a nascent space and these are new projects and they're changing and developing. And I also think it's a fantastic thing that we're seeing with the competition of people taking what Bitcoin has proven, the public blockchain system, and seeing all of the places that it could be valuable.
Awesome. So yeah, we see something very similar at Abra in terms of, first of all, companies are contacting us every day. How do I get my coin listed?
Right, that makes sense.
In our case, it doesn't actually work that way, and we're very transparent about that. You can't pay Abra to have a coin listed. It has to do with liquidity, market cap, trading spreads, daily trading volume, and a whole bunch of other factors, which hopefully the public realizes that they can trust Abra to make some of those decisions, which is what I really like about the approach you guys take. So look, why don't we stop there? There's all kinds of information about how Bitwise works. Actually, inside the Abra app, even you can go to our FAQ for the app, and you'll see links to all kinds of information about how the Bit10 works. And you can also, what's great about it, start small. I think I put $50 in the first time I was testing the app before we even launched, and I think I checked today, it was up to about $58, so that's good news.
That's good.
But you can just go to add a new wallet, choose the Bit10, and get started right away. So thank you, Hunter, for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.